What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are breaking down what I think will go down as the infamous episode 3 of the Acolyte. Again, I'm sticking with my what I did with episodes 1 and 2. We're gonna see what works, what doesn't work, why, and all that jazz. We're gonna keep politics and all that fun stuff out unless it directly affects the plot. I've gotten my notes out, so we are ready to go. Let's get started. Instantly, we're starting out with a flashback. It starts out with 16 years earlier. I don't know how I feel about this being the third episode in. I think I would have liked this maybe second episode or maybe just a flashback in an episode. We'll get to that reason why, because I feel like a lot of this is just drawn out for no reason. But we start out 16 years earlier and we get introduced to our female antagonist and protagonist, May and Osha, the twins. As you can see, one messing with the force here. Again, I have it written down. Flashback is the third episode is weird. So we get introduced to these two. It's very interesting that they decided to stay with the same hair design or the same hairstyle. I've seen other people comment on this where it's like, oh yeah, sure, because we keep the same hair as we grow older. Part of me feels like, well, we have to make them realize that these are the twins. This is who they were. It's like, yeah, but we're not dumb, if that's the take we take on it. I just don't know how I feel about the hair changes. I mean, if we look at other Star Wars characters like Obi-Wan Kenobi, when we first get introduced to him in Phantom Menace, and then all the way through, what is it, Revenge of the Sith, his hairstyle's constantly changing, and so is Anakin's when we meet Anakin in episode 1 all the way through to episode 3. So I find it weird that they're like, hey, there's a 16-year gap and we're gonna keep their hair the exact same. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of who they chose as these actresses because they don't look alike. They're supposed to be twins, and I don't think they look... They look pointy enough for how they are portrayed later on, because obviously we have the same actress playing both roles, I believe. And here it's like, you can obviously tell these two apart. So that's a little issue I have. I know it's kind of hard unless you get one kid that can play both. I doubt they could do, maybe possibly didn't Lindsay Lohan do that in The Parent Trap. So I mean, yeah. Also, not the biggest fan of this acting, the kids acting. It just feels rushed. See, here we get this real. Pay attention to this because we get this love here. I think that one's a little off. And then of course we get our first shot of our boy, our Jedi Master, kind of creeping along. I don't know how I feel about this. It's kind of weird making the Jedis out to be like creeps, like spying on the kids, but whatever. We'll get into that later. I have a part here where I felt like this was too long of dialogue for this shot. This is where we find out that this is one of the biggest problems in the episode right here, is that we have these two...
Our scouts think they...
These two women that are we find out are the twins' mothers. So yeah, we get a little bit of the LGBTQ involved, which I mean, that's perfectly fine. I'm not too worried about it. My only problem is how they say that the kids were made. They basically took one out of the book with how Anakin was born of the Force. It's supposed to be like the first one ever, and then all of a sudden here you have these two. What other people have said, you have these two nobodies realistically in this like witch cult that were able to make twins from the Force, or the thread as they call it. I do like them calling it the thread. I think it's kind of cool to show how different, I guess, religions would refer to the Force as different things. I don't think everyone would refer to it as the Force unless that's like specifically written like in canon that, oh, this is 1,000,000%, you have to call it the Force, and that's all it is. I feel like this shot here though was way too long of a one shot of them two just talking. I would have liked to have switched to cut it more because our attention spans are so short. It would have been nice to do the over the shoulder talking, but instead they chose to just leave it here. We'll just do one long shot from the side for like an extremely long amount of time, and I was like, I just didn't like that at all. Then it was also I've got a funny one here. This is when
through all of existence.
Here she's talking about the thread. You know, she's doing the thing. You can see a little thread there. You know, I have a funny comment here where I said the Kamehameha wave. It looks like this lady's about to do the Kamehameha. Wait, hold on. Is it when she attacks?
Use it.
Right there. It's like she's doing the Kamehameha wave. I'm just kind of like, all right, Kamehameha, ha! You know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, sorry. I had to. I thought it was funny. Yeah, this whole exchange here.
Girls, to your room.
The Jedi are coming, and they're trying to. So basically, the Jedi are there because they're like, oh, if there's kids here that have Force capabilities, then we're gonna check them to see if they have the midichlorians, and if they do, we're gonna take them to be Jedi. They obviously don't want that to happen because there's this whole spiel about how they've been kicked out of everywhere. They're not welcome because of who they are. Kind of feels very politically forced. Again, we're not gonna go on that. We're just gonna go on the story. I think it's cool that they have the Wookiee Jedi. Where's he at? He's in here somewhere. I kind of skipped a lot, but we'll just go back through this. It's very interesting. This is a big thing too, is like seeing like the relationship that the two sisters have with each other, because obviously Osha is having this like internal conflict where she's like, I don't want to do this, but again, I also don't like the acting on her part because she's moping around the whole time, and there's dialogue that just doesn't come off as well rehearsed and practiced. And I'm comparing this to almost like the first couple Harry Potters. Those kids, that was their first real big acting gig, and I feel like their acting was significantly better than this. You know, and like there's just no, I feel like there's supposed to be emotions here that I just don't get, if that makes sense. What else we have? They have no father. Yes, yeah. So I skipped to they have no father. A lot of more just kind of dialogue, and then this is okay. Like I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring it up because everybody else brings it up. Who agreed this in the green room? This chant they do. I like, because again, they're playing into like the cult aspect where they are a cult, but this chant is so dumb. It's so dumb. Where do they do it?
Exactly.
This. I think this is so dumb. I don't know. I feel like I don't have a response to this, and I know my whole thing is let's make it work better. I just don't like that chant. Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. Where's this? We're going through the kids. So basically, this is the kids like being ascended into the witches. Obviously, Osha didn't want to do it. But then we get our Jedi show up, and I thought this was cool. A Wookiee as a Jedi. I think that's sick. All right, I'm gonna be that guy. I think a Wookiee Jedi, super cool. All right, love that. Let's have a Wookiee Jedi. Then obviously we have our scene from the trailer where old boy gets taken over. I thought this was the dumbest thing. Let's hand a small child what used to be, and I'll say used to be because apparently you can survive from being stabbed by a lightsaber now. What used to be the most deadliest weapon in the universe. Let's just hand a child the lightsaber. They're either A, gonna kill themselves, or B, kill you, because they're gonna be like, oh, what's this button do? Click. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, why? What does this prove? I know he's trying to be like graceful and he's trying to like gesture like a sense of friendship, but it's like, bro, you don't hand over your weapon. You don't hand over the lightsaber. God. And I just have it in my notes. Give a kid a lightsaber with like 12 question marks. So we go on, and I was saying this whole thing doesn't feel right. Here's the scene. I thought this was cool. You kind of see the black magic that the witches have, and where they take over him. I thought this was cool, but also I feel like the Jedi don't react in a way that I thought would be more appropriate. They almost like don't care. Where it's like, I know they're like, oh my God, what? It's like, dude, I feel like episodes 1 through 3 Jedis would have instantly ignited lightsabers like, you better stop right now. They're kind of just like, oh no, Dave. Oh no, Dave, you're no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I said it doesn't feel right, the demeanor of the Jedi. I don't think it does feel right. They just it just feels off. No. And then what's really interesting here is just how quickly they were like, they don't want their kids to be found by the Jedi. They don't want to do it. But then how quickly they're just like, oh sure, we'll let you test them. Like, just like that. It's like, what? Why such the quick turnaround? And then of course I still have it as like the kid acting is terrible, because then we get into this.
If we pass,
her face hasn't changed. I don't think she has any other facial expressions, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna critique the most expensive Disney project ever, $180 million for this, and you've got a kid actress that can't change facial expressions. She's killing it. I think this girl's awesome. I think she's a little bit better as an actor. The other girl's just like, bro, come on. But at the same time, all of it just kind of feels, there's no emotion to it. It's all just words being said. And I say that because I just watched, what is it, The Watcher, and I just watched Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass had me crying at the end of it because there was actual emotion behind the words being said. This just, again, feels like words being said.
I want to say what's in my heart.
See, that doesn't, I want to see what's in my heart. I want to see what's in my heart. Like, that doesn't come off as like normal, you know, you get what I'm saying. There's one moment where she says she'll kill her.
I promise.
See, and that just feels so bad. Fine. I want to see what's in my heart. Well, you better not. Fine, I promise. It's just kind of like, what? Like, what, brother? Like, what is this dialogue? Then there's a scene where she says, I'll kill you. I think I missed that one. But then we get into Osha doing her training, and then she obviously finds out she's lying. Again, I feel like we don't get a different face. Now we get into this where...
I don't want to share with May. I want to see the galaxy. Don't want to be a witch. What's wrong with you?
And this fighting, I'm sorry, again, back to the acting aspect. Take a walk. You have 100, and it's hard with kids. I get it, it's hard with kids. But it's like when you have a $180 million budget and you have this staff that you can bring on, you can spend some time to teach these kids how to act. You can, wait on these scenes. You can like work on them to make them better. Again, going back to like Harry Potter's, it's just like those kids were crushing it as child actors because the director was taking, I think a couple takes took like 15, 16 takes. And it just feels like, oh, we're just trying to get the episode done.
Now.
Because the acting is just, I just don't. And again, like the constant switch between Osha and May, where like, I love you, I kill you. I love you, I kill you. Because the last thing I have it say here, like, she says, I'll kill you, right? And it's kind of like, well, that's kind of extreme. And so then Osha goes to pack her stuff. She's got this little book. May shows up and she's like, I won't let you leave.
You can't go. We're stuck here now. It's not up to you. You can't stop me.
Now this is interesting because you flash forward to what happened before that, where she comes in and she goes, we're stuck here now. And like flashing forward, you see that like everyone's dead. And you're kind of wondering, is like, did May kill everyone? Because you'll see, because like a lot of stuff doesn't make sense when we move forward. But it's one of those things where it's like, did she kill everybody? Like, hold on.
Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
There it is. I'll kill you. And then like just none of that makes sense. Now, pay attention. Everything is made of stone. Everything here is made of stone. Right? This is, a lot of people, this has got a lot of heat because this is just like poor writing. She lights her book on fire. So she's trying to yell for Mama's help, but Mama's not there. And this is the big, this is the big moment of the episode. This is the big reveal, like what happens, right? That's why like when I said back at the end of it, it's like, I feel like this could have been in the middle of an episode. This didn't need to be an entire episode itself. I feel like we just wasted an episode for this backstory where there's so much wasted dialogue, there's terrible act, and the story could have been summed up in about 10 minutes, whereas they're taking, how long is this episode? They're taking 38 minutes to tell it. I feel like you could have told this story sufficiently in about 10, legitimately. So here's the question. How is all of that on fire? It's stone and metal. How is that on fire? If you wanted to burn, make it out of stuff that can burn, you know? And so that's like, again, it's just like, they have like this really cool plot idea and they're like, what would look really cool? But then they failed on execution because it's like, this just doesn't make sense. Then we get to the big moment where you're like, oh, well, Osha! Why do we think May's dead? And of course, he's perfectly there. Now all of a sudden, May's telling her to jump over to me after she tried to, like, what?
Where's Mama?
Dude, there they all are dead. Okay, so here's a big scene. You've got Osha and May, then you've got everybody dead here, and you're kind of just like, well, how are they dead? Like, what's happened? I'm hoping we get some like clarity in the remainder of the season. I've already seen episode 4, and it's already a no to that. So it's really confusing how everyone died because nothing here seems to be bad. Like that room everyone's dead in is even on fire. But then you've got Osha and May. Osha literally just tried to kill. Or May literally just tried to kill Osha, and now Osha's like, jump over to me. And you're just like, but you just tried to kill her.
What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?
Again, incredible dialogue. Let's go. What have you done? 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 It's like, what the fuck? And there's another question for you. How the fuck? Look how far away they are. I just caught this. Look how far this bridge is from the walkway. So she falls over towards him. What? Anyway, and then you see the pit that they fell down. How does anyone survive that? Oh, somehow Sidious survived being thrown down the Death Star and then having it blow up. So obviously, 8-year-old girl could survive that. That's why I'm just like, come on.
I got you.
So then we get this scene where it's like, I got you. Everyone's dead, as we see. Everything's on fire, even though it's stone and metal. I still don't understand that. How are all these people dead? I think there's more. There has to be more to it. Like with the Jedi, which why was he here, right? Why was he there? They just show everyone's dead. Oh no, everyone's dead. And then this part I didn't get. I wrote it down. Worst storytelling, period. It's terrible storytelling because, again, they took a 10-minute story and tried to make it 40 minutes. Why? Yeah, I was like, how is she so hurt she didn't get hurt at all? Nothing happened to her. Remember, nothing has happened to her. She almost fell down a pit, but he saved her. She wasn't hit by anything. She didn't get in a fight. Nothing. So why is she now on this medical bed, almost as if she got knocked out while actively running out of the burning building, and she has like no idea what happened?
Okay,
no shit, she's okay. Nothing happened to her. He's like, you're gonna be okay. Again, nothing happened to her. Am I the only one that sees this? Nothing has happened to this child. And they're acting like, I don't know. And then here's this part. Struggles to sit up. Why? Don't know.
Where am I?
And now she's like, where am I? So you're telling me between the time we see her run with our Jedi guy, and now she like blacked out or passed out from some injuries that we never saw her ever sustain, and she has no idea where she is, even though just moments ago she was on this very ship doing the Jedi testing. You see I'm confused. Like,
What happened?
what do you mean what happened? So I'm sorry. And again, it's bad acting. And I'm sorry, I don't think he's that great of an actor. I know he was decent in Squid Games. I don't think he's that great here as a Jedi. I know he had to learn English, and you can just tell he's struggling with English. Kudos to him for trying. I just don't. I would have gone a different route. Yeah, why does she have no memory? Like, what?
May started a fire.
And now he's having to explain to her what happened. She was there. She knows this. She never got hit in the head. She never got knocked out. She never took a serious injury. So why are we having to explain to her what just happened? And again, I think the emotion and acting here is terrible. See, I'm just confused. Like, how does this make sense? She was perfectly healthy leaving. When the fire started, she was okay. She was smart and coherent enough to find her way out of her room that was burning on fire. She was running away when she encountered May. They both got into a little, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Whatever. And then she's saved by our Jedi guy. I don't know his name, so I keep saying Jedi guy. And then they actually run away together. So how does she not remember any of this? And if the Jedi did like a Jedi mind trick to make her forget, then why is he now telling her everything that happened? So this scene, none of this makes sense.
We have to go back.
And again, acting is terrible. We have to go back. We have to go back. There's like no emotion here.
Back there.
This is like the crying that like my nieces do when they just want to get their way. They start the fake crying where you obviously know it's fake. That's what this reminds me of.
Your trainer's my Padawan.
And then here's the problem. Girl just lost her whole family in a horrific accident that she somehow doesn't remember. And you're instantly gonna start, you can train as my Padawan if you want. Time and place, brother! He's like, you'll never feel like this again. And then, oh, big cutscene. She's still alive. And you're just like, brother, how? Anyway, I think this was a terrible episode. Acting was terrible. Cinematography was terrible. Stuff just doesn't make sense. And again, it's a freaking, hold on. It's a how long of an episode is this? It's a 40-minute episode that could have been done in 10 minutes. We could have wrapped all this up in 10 minutes because there's so much in here that's just wasted dialogue, wasted space, poor acting. Like, we just ripped it up. I know I'm sounding super negative. I just like, we needed the backstory. Did it need to be an entire episode? No. Could we have gotten away with like 10 minutes of this? Yes, maybe even 5 minutes. Just wish we could have done a better job, spend a little bit more time teaching these kids how to act better, how to show better emotion, spending more time on scenes, making them work to pull that emotion that we want to feel. When I watched this, I felt no emotions, you know? And it's like, I should be invested in this story. I should be. As a viewer, I should be invested. I'm not. And that sucks. Because I want to be invested because I do like Star Wars. I saw someone's comment on my other video. I said episode 1 and 2 aren't good. And he's like, you must not be a Star Wars fan. Dude, I got a Star Destroyer and Darth Vader's TIE Fighter tattooed on my arm, bro. I love Star Wars. I've got lightsabers. Love Star Wars. I just want to feel some emotion. There's no emotion in this because they don't take the time to make a good story. There's a good story here. There could be a really good story here. Minus all the canon breaks, there's a really good story here, but it's just rushed over. And they've got $180 million to do this. I can make a better story with $1 million. Not even $1 million, $100 grand. Hell, we made a better story with Epic Verse with, I think, like a $20K budget. Like, come on. But yeah, that's my take. Sorry. Episode 3, I didn't care for it. How'd you feel? Comment down below. Be looking forward to episode 4 breakdown and recap. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.